Greetings from Las Vegas. Welcome to the EOG Sports Hour. John Kelly with you on a Friday night. Glad to be representing EOG. The three letters stand for Eye on Gaming. EOG.com, a website dedicated to the hearts and minds of sports bettors everywhere. Big show planned for you tonight as Railbird is front and center this fall. This football season will be presenting one-on-one handicapping showdowns featuring Railbird, a 46-year-old sports bettor from Huntington Beach, California. He's certainly been good in these head-to-head one-on-one competitions with members of the Eye on Gaming community. Birdie has won 11 straight showdowns, and here to meet him tonight is ComptrBob, maybe the smartest guy we have in our community. Certainly from a math standpoint, Bob takes that title. ComptrBob, a product of the University of Washington. He's aced many courses in advanced mathematics and engineering, a successful career in computer software development. We'll talk with ComptrBob, his challenge with Railbird on tonight's program. The format for this competition, very simple. It's just like the old Stardust Invitational, 7 plays, pro games or college games, sides or totals. The handicapper with the higher winning percentage from his 7 plays will be declared the winner. So it's Railbird going head-to-head with ComptrBob, and our community is eager for this showdown. Cheap Seats is listening tonight, so too is Hustle Double. Scratch is rooting for ComptrBob, so too is Game Bread. Parlay Now is listening. Cadillac Pete, Shawnee Mac, Manchester, UK from across the pond is listening as well. Shows that the internet has brought the world together, and we have many EOG community members spread across not only the land, but across and around the world. Railbird, good evening. Welcome to the program. Are you set for the one-on-one showdown?
Yeah, I hope hopefully to make it number 12 tonight, and I'm ready. I'm really ready. Just had my green machine naked juice with the spinach and the celery and everything. So I was trying to stay alkaline. So yeah, I'm ready to go.
Sounds good. And, you really showed your versatility in this competition, because this will be a football competition over the next 4 months. But you've defeated guys in your specialty, basketball. You've defeated guys in baseball. You even went head-to-head in a golf competition and won. And that's not even your best sport, or these aren't even your best sports, Birdie. Your best sport might be tennis, and you're going to give us a preview of what could happen this weekend at the U.S. Open. I know the men's tournament to the semis. That we'll see 2 matches tomorrow. The women's tournament wraps up on Sunday with the final between Williams and Wozniacki. When I hear you talk tennis, Railbird, I doubt there's many other handicappers who know more than you.
Right. It's constantly changing, though, and we've lost some of our tournaments here in Southern California. We had a tournament at UCLA that moved to I think China bought that. They bought the one in La Costa, and then there's one at Carson. So I used to see 3 tournaments, so I'd see all the players in person and stuff. And there's constantly changing. So I'm not as good as I once was at tennis, but I still follow it closely. And I've had a good U.S. Open actually.
Do you expect a Federer-Djokovic final on Monday? They're meeting, looks like overmatched opponents on Saturday. Federer has Cilic, and Djokovic gets Nishikori.
Right. I think I give both dogs a baby chance. I don't think Djokovic is in tip-top form. I've seen him in better form. And Nishikori, he's resilient. He's won a couple of 5-setters. And I think Federer he was extended by Monfils yesterday. I mean, Monfils had a couple match points on his racket. So I think they're both beatable, but they're both considerable favorites to win. But it's not a shoo-in like other years.
Not a shoo-in, but if they do reach the final, Birdie, Federer against Djokovic, if things go according to Hoyle tomorrow, what's the price Monday and who wins it? Djokovic v. Federer?
I think Djokovic should be about a 170, 180 favorite, and I think he would also win that match. Federer's getting he's 33 now. If he was going to get him, it would have been at Wimbledon. He missed there. So and now on hard court. I mean, it's not impossible for Federer to win that match, but I would think Djokovic would have an edge there.
What about on the women's side? Serena Williams against Caroline Wozniacki. Serena, a big favorite, minus 460. The take back plus 380.
380. And Wozniacki looked outstanding in the first 5 rounds. she was a little tight today in her win. She was sort of pushing the ball, though it was windy. And Serena just seems dialed in. It looks like she's going to take it. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of hers, but it looks like she's in tip-top form and not going to be stopped this tournament.
Why don't you like Serena Williams?
Well, when she does lose, she doesn't give credit to her opponent. She comes up with excuses. It was, I didn't play well. It was never the opponent played well, and she has a bad temper. She'll smash her rackets and threaten officials when they're calling footfalls, and she's a poor sport. It's not my favorite.
Railbird knows the sport of tennis well. ComptrBob, he's told us on past programs that he knows one sport really well. It's the sport of skiing. He lives in Squaw Valley, California, site of the 1960 Winter Olympics. He's been on ski patrols in the past. He's an avid skier, and every now and then, ComptrBob, you get a chance to bet the sport.
Yeah, it pops up every once in a while. Normally I don't follow the FIS World Cup events. I'll follow them as a fan, but I don't bet them. But every 4 years there's the Winter Olympics, and that has quite a few bets available.
What's it like living in Squaw Valley, California?
It's terrible. I think people should completely avoid the Lake Tahoe area, please. It's just overrun with tourists, so you don't want to come up here. We have a saying that every nice day it's another shitty day in paradise.
Not sure that made the air, but our internet listeners will appreciate the line, ComptrBob. A question, why California, not Nevada? I thought there were advantages to being a resident of Nevada over California.
Well, there definitely are advantages, and as the announcement the other day, Tesla is putting together a huge gigafactory for lithium batteries in the Reno area, and part of the reason for that is Nevada does not have a state income tax for individuals, and they have a fairly decent infrastructure. The Reno area has a bit of a bad reputation as the biggest little town in the West, but it does have a UNR as a decent university and a fairly decent population. It's been hit with some real unemployment problems during the recession that the whole country had, but it's coming back, not quite as fast as Las Vegas. The whole state is somewhat sluggish in terms of economic growth, but it's not bad, and by next month I intend to be a Nevada resident.
Very well. Buying a spot in Nevada. You'll keep your Squaw Valley spot too?
Yeah, so I'll keep this. I may rent it out to friends from time to time, but at this point I'm going to be taking money out of my retirement funds, and I don't particularly get much benefit from being a California resident, from paying California state income tax.
When you're in Squaw Valley, California, Bob, obviously you're in California, so you're not able to use the phone apps that are available to Nevada residents, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm about 18 miles from the state line if I go to North Tahoe at Crystal Bay. So for me, that's the casino. There's two William Hill outlets there, the Tahoe Biltmore and the Crystal Bay Club. But I can't use the app until I get to those clubs and I actually cross the state boundary.
Railbird, how is life in Huntington Beach, California? I see you quite often here in Las Vegas. You're a frequent visitor. Would you ever consider a move to Las Vegas?
I can't do it, John. I like to visit. It's a good place, nice place to visit. But the air quality kind of gets to me, and the smoke in the casinos kind of sort of gets to me. I don't sleep well when I'm there in town. I'm in love with Orange County, so I'm going to hopefully spend the rest of my life here.
How far are you from the Pacific Ocean?
About a par 5 away. So yeah, I spend most of my days in the ocean or around the ocean, playing tennis and trying to live the good life.
And I love that ocean lifestyle too. You see guys, they live longer out there, don't they, Bertie? You see some, guys in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, active, running around still.
Oh, there's some low body fat guys that are in their 80s. I think if you read the obituaries here compared to Vegas, they're living longer here in Orange County than in Vegas. It's a nice lifestyle for sure. It's active. So you take advantage of it. It's beautiful.
I mentioned your success in these head-to-head competitions featuring Ion Gaming community members. How do you do out of pocket, Bertie? I know college basketball's one of your specialties. You've got that sports advisory business, Railbird Sports, that'll kick up in November. How do you do out of pocket? Are you a gambler and a winner?
Yeah, I am, John. And right now, I'm just, I want to stay humble and just, keep fucking along.
Mm-hmm. And Bertie made a great call last year. Remember the Seattle-Denver Super Bowl? It was a whack job from the start. You were heavily behind the Seattle Seahawks. You were telling us that Russell Wilson was a better quarterback than Peyton Manning, and that's why you should bet the Seahawks over the Broncos. What's funny is you were the only one saying that, Bertie. Those who like the Broncos, their first line of defense for making that bet, their first line of support was Peyton Manning. Manning, the best quarterback on the field. Got to support Peyton Manning, and that was a dead-end street.
Russell Wilson, Peyton Manning, his rookie year, he went 1-15. Russell Wilson, he's off to the best start in NFL history for a 2-year starter. His first 2 years as in the league. I think he's won 25 games now in 2+ years as a starter. So I mean that tells you right there who the best in the game is. I think it's Russell Wilson.
ComptrBob, what was your takeaway from that game? Super Bowl 48 and the season opener where Seattle whacked Green Bay 36-16.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that, John. No, I think we focus too much on particular regular season stats. I think you have to look at matchups, and Russell Wilson didn't win the Super Bowl by himself, obviously. I think it was the Seattle defense. To me, that was the whole important story and matchup was going to be, could that defense shut down the Broncos? And they did. That was it.
Mm-hmm. What's scary about the Seahawks now, Bob, though, it's this offense is coming around. I mean, the offensive line had been a weak point last year. It's getting better. The Wilson, Lynch, Harvin triumvirate, that's going to be tough to deal with. And it's an efficient offense, too, and Wilson doesn't make a lot of mistakes. One thing what Bertie said, Russell Wilson over Peyton Manning, maybe using hyperbole to make a point, but at the same time, Wilson's probably a better fit for the Seattle Seahawks team than Manning might have been.
Yeah, I think probably that's true. I think also I really like the coaching matchup of Pete Carroll, versus fill in the blanks.
John Fox.
John Fox, right. I've never been a super Fox fan. He did good things at Carolina, for a while. But Carroll is, to me, a real genius. He's been around the geniuses for a long time, and is a real player's coach. And so, they've done a good job of taking all their weaknesses. Their only real loss from last year was Golden Tate, I believe, left the team, right, as a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's not a really big loss. I predicted that he wouldn't have a terrific Super Bowl, and I was correct in that. Just to also correct, Peyton Manning was 3-13 his first year, not 1-15.
Bob setting the record straight there, and
Troy Aikman was 1-15.
Okay, so we got Aikman maybe confused with Peyton Manning, but it makes the same point, the fact that the great quarterbacks can struggle their rookie season. Russell Wilson did not. What a leader he was, too. Remember when he came to Wisconsin?
Yeah, but Russell Wilson went on to a much better team. Peyton Manning, really, the Colts was not a good team. So,
wait a minute.
That was Dallas in the first year.
Bob, what do you predict in terms of long-term success for Russell Wilson?
Well, I think if he stays injury-free, I think he'll have a decent career. I don't know if he will put up the kind of numbers, which really isn't important, except to get into the Pro Bowl game. But he'll certainly have success if he continues his game management skills, in terms of wins and losses.
Railbird, you're a big family guy. You often talk about handicapping sports, looking for chemistry in the locker room. You like it when the players not only get along on the field, but off the field as well. This Seattle Seahawks team looks like a family. Pete Carroll's one of the main reasons why.
Right. They have a pretty prominent Bible study there with Russell Wilson, a couple of defensive coaches, a couple of the defensive guys, and then the defensive coach Cito. So yeah, they're family for sure. I think, getting back to Peyton Manning, he was 3-13 his rookie year and had a league-high 28 interceptions. And I think the year before, Jim Harbaugh was thrown into the end zone, and if the guy would have caught it in the end zone, they would have made the Super Bowl. That was the year before, Manning's rookie year. But, the Seahawks are a family. I like their chemistry, and Coach Carroll's so positive and just rubs off on everybody.
Let's step aside.
I was watching on YouTube. He has a very good hour and a half Q&A. He went back to USC over the spring, and it's a very inspirational. It's like a self-motivator. It's like watching Zig Ziglar or something, watching Pete Carroll's YouTube channel.
One point I like to make about professional sports and college sports, for that matter, Railbird, is that I like the pro teams that have that college enthusiasm, and I like the college teams that have a professional approach, that take it seriously, that aren't all rah-rah. If you can find that in the pro and college teams, I think you're a step ahead of some of the competition.
I love when college teams have former NFL coordinators, defensive, offensive coordinators. They're in their twilight. That's always helpful. And then sometimes the college coach, I think Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl. Jimmy Johnson did well. So sometimes it translates. The college coaches can do well in the NFL. There was a trend that was going the opposite for a while. And Pete Carroll's first time around, he just struggled with the Jets. I think he was like 6-10 and got fired unexpectedly. But it's nice to have pro coordinators in the college game. Yeah,
now we're seeing almost a complete reversal, Bob. These college coaches coming in, making an impact. Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh, and most recently Chip Kelly, what he's done at Philadelphia. The scheme in Oregon works in Philadelphia. 10 years ago, we wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I think things are slowly changing. In the old NFL, you had mostly retreads. You would get guys like Norv Turner have 4 or 5 shots at being a head coach, and because he was an assistant at Dallas when they won their Super Bowls. But it's interesting, Pete Carroll was sandwiched at the Patriots with, he came in after Parcells, and he came in before Belichick. So he easily could have, if he had stuck around and had a little bit earlier success, he easily could be really done the things that Belichick did.
Let's step aside and take the first time out of the program. When we return, more with Railbird and ComptrBob. I'll ask them about 2 words in football, how they approach these 2 words, dealing with both pro and college football handicapping. One word, tempo, and the other word is efficiency, how that affects their handicapping moving forward. And then we'll get to the plays, the 7 plays on the card for the weekend. Railbird against ComptrBob, a head-to-head handicapping showdown here on the EOG Sports Hour.
There's no such thing as a sure thing, unless you're talking about Ion Gaming. Ion Gaming is a website dedicated to the hearts and minds of sports bettors everywhere. If you're looking for smart, sophisticated sports handicapping information and insight,
go to EOG.com.
If you're looking for the latest news on the ever-changing landscape of Nevada's race and sportsbook industry,
go to EOG.com.
If you're looking for the most recent developments involving the worldwide sports betting scene with an emphasis on the leading sports books in San Jose, Costa Rica,
Go to EOG.com.
And finally, if you're looking to join an online community of sports gamblers where registration is free and the information is priceless,
Go to EOG.com.
You get the idea. Why gamble on other sports betting websites when Ion Gaming is a sure thing?
And I love a sure thing.
Hi, this is Rick Alec, president of Sports Options. Sports Options is a sports information tool designed to give sports bettors of all types the necessary edge needed to improve their bottom line. With Sports Options, you'll never lay a bad number again. We provide you with live odds from the leading sports books in the world, from Costa Rica to Curacao, London to Las Vegas, and everywhere in between. Sports Options also provides the fastest and most accurate injury information, lightning-quick score updates, and game analysis from 30-year handicapping veteran Mark Simons. We offer affordable services for players of all levels, starting at just $99 per month. To see which service best fits your needs, you can take advantage of our 7-day free trial. No credit card is needed. Just go to www.sportsoptions.com and click on the free trial link. I'm confident you'll be impressed with our product, and you'll find it the most complete and comprehensive on the market. In fact, if you don't like Sports Options after 30 days, we'll refund you 100% of your subscription costs, no questions asked. Go to sportsoptions.com for all the details, or call 702-835-1743, and one of our friendly customer service representatives will be happy to help you. Sports Options, information you can bet on.
And we are back. The EOG Sports Hour. John Kelly with you on a Friday night, here to present a one-on-one handicapping showdown featuring Railbird and ComptrBob. You can call it Street Smart against Book Smart. Railbird with lots of guile and trusts his intuition. ComptrBob, the math wizard from Northern California, Northern Nevada. He's been around the gambling scene for a long time and has plenty of experience. What I like about Bob, too, he's not only a scientist, he's a part artist, and it's not like Railbird can't read the numbers either. I mean, don't sell him short for studying the box scores. He knows the game well, likes to watch a lot of the action. He goes to a lot of college basketball games in California, dealing with the Pac-12, the Big West, the West Coast Conference, and other schools there, other conferences there. It's Railbird against ComptrBob in our one-on-one showdown. Before we get to that, I mentioned tempo and efficiency. ComptrBob, when you hear those two words, what do you think about when handicapping games?
Well, I think tempo is basically the number of plays you can get off in a normal game. It basically indicates how much of the play clock you're going to be using. It can be a little bit deceiving if, for instance, you're sitting on a big lead in the fourth quarter and you just accept the fact that you're going to just do 3 running plays, and you might be good enough that you can even run the clock out. And so obviously there your tempo is going to be much different than your normal tempo if you run a no-huddle offense and call plays. You know, with many coaches like Chip Kelly target calling a play such as they get the play off with as much as 20 seconds left on the play clock. And efficiency, I think, more of third and fourth down efficiencies, where you really have to keep possession of the ball. You have to keep moving, because if you do that, it'll result in a score, especially if you have good red zone efficiency. And those are numbers that I really look at, because they directly affect your ability to score.
And Bertie, in the sport of basketball, we've talked about tempo and efficiency for years, but now it's really come to the forefront in football too, especially tempo. You know, these teams playing fast, not only at the college level, but now at the pro level too. Yeah,
tempo, they have, it's more of a thing for totals, guys that wager on totals. They do, yards per play and how many plays. Like USC was running 70 plays last year, and last week they ran 105, so it's more of a tool used for totals and sides. Then efficiency is, a culture of execution, and you execute on third down and fourth down. And, like Bob said, you convert in the red zone, you get 7s instead of 3s and 0s. So those were the terms. If you look at the glossary, that's what it probably would say.
Let's get to the handicapping of the games. Listeners have pen and paper ready. It's Railbird against ComptrBob. We'll let the challenger go first. Again, Birdie's won 11 straight head-to-head showdowns with members of the EOG community, but he could be in tough here with ComptrBob. Bob play 1 of 7 in our one-on-one showdowns with Birdie.
Well, first I'd like to say Railbird has had a great run and done some really nice things, so he certainly deserves accolades. I hope not to be his dozenth victim, but certainly he does his homework and he does find edges that many other people don't. So, however, and given Railbird's predilections for post-prescient prognostications, for my first pick, I love the Seahawks, betting number 462, minus 4.5. Oh, wait. That was Railbird's first pick. I'm sorry. No. So hopefully people got a joke out of that.
Your first play for real.
My first play for real is betting number 317, Central Michigan plus 3.5 versus Purdue. I watched in detail the Purdue-Western Michigan game. Sometimes that can be an advantage, and sometimes it can be a 2-hour bore. But it was a back-and-forth game. But if you look at Western Michigan, which I think is probably 4 or 5 points worse than Central Michigan, Western Michigan had more first downs than Purdue, and Western Michigan outgained Purdue in yardage. It was really a very even game except for the one turnover that Western Michigan made. Usually I discount the results from a bad turnover. They're not necessarily totally random, but certainly they can be outweighed. And in this case, I view this as a dead even game. I think Central Michigan could win outright, and certainly getting a 3.5 point head start is an advantage.
So, betting number 317, Central Michigan plus 3.5 over Purdue. That is ComptrBob's first of 7 selections. Note, the handicappers may select pro games or college games, sides or totals. They'll designate a best bet at the end of the program. That best bet will serve as the tiebreaker. Railbird, play 1.
Well, I'd like to thank Bob for the compliments. I guess it's going to be hard. It's probably not easy to beat a scientist. So pre-calculation, is that like going outside the time domain?
No, I just threw some big P words at you.
Okay. Okay, my first pick is Lieutenant General Robert Cason. He's a lieutenant in the Army, and he hired Jeff Monken from Georgia Southern. And what Lieutenant Cason did this year was he started the military training in May instead of July. So when the season started in September, the last few years, Army hasn't been doing too well because they're worn out from military training. And this year they started the military training in May. So the guys have more. I see where the team is 15 pounds bigger than last year. Okay, their opponent tomorrow is the Buffalo Bulls, who played the Duquesne Dukes last week, and the score was 38-28. Well, the Duquesne Dukes aren't very good. They're a very low-end FCS team from the Northeastern Conference. So I think 3 is a very small number. Army's got some added size, and this new coach, Jeff Monken, did very well at Georgia Southern. He was at an 800 winning percentage there the last 4 years. So my first play is Army minus 3 tomorrow.
Betting number 320, Army minus 3 over Buffalo. That'll serve as Birdie's first selection. That game, like Bob's Central Michigan-Purdue game, kicks off at 9 a.m. Pacific time. 1 play in, 6 more to come. It's Railbird against ComptrBob in a one-on-one handicapping showdown. This event brought to you by Ion Gaming, EOG.com, a website dedicated to the hearts and minds of sports bettors everywhere. Bob, we're ready for play 2.
Okay, for play 2, I will go to an interesting game that it could look like a mismatch. It's betting number 325. I'm taking Arkansas State plus 16.5 versus Tennessee. Not getting the best number in this matchup, but I still think Arkansas State will be very competitive. I think the line is inflated because Tennessee really took care of business with Utah State. They really shut them down. But Arkansas State is a different cat, and I think they know more about the Tennessee program. I think they more because they're obviously in the same region. They're obviously not in the same conference, but this is kind of a game where Tennessee may well be planning for next week, in which they go and play Oklahoma in Norman, Oklahoma, and they might tend to look past an Arkansas State team that can really put points up. This may well go over. The total right now is 58, but I like the Arkansas State side, but people might also look at the over.
Betting number 325, Arkansas State plus 16.5 over Tennessee. That's Bob's second contest play. He also says take a peek at the over, but that did not make his 7-game card. Tennessee in a possible look-ahead spot, says ComptrBob. Railbird, play 2.
Play 2 is the Toledo Rockets, number 322. They're getting 3.5. I think this game opens 6.5, so I'm not one of these guys who say, oh, you missed the number, ooh, you can't bet it now. But I think there's going to be some MAC refs in there. I'm watching this Washington State-Nevada game right now, and obviously in this game there's Mountain West refs because Washington State's not getting any calls at all. And I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow is Toledo's going to have, who's the best team in the MAC, by the way. I thought last year they just didn't play well against Northern Illinois, but this team's very good. They blew out a very good New Hampshire team, was very underrated by a wide margin. And now Missouri was life or death last year against Toledo. Now Toledo's coming home. This game is at home. Finkel's coming back to where he once coached. But I just think Toledo probably wins this game, and then they're getting 3.5 on top of that. And they have some backdoor ability. If they're stuck 9, 10, 11, they'll get that last score because they're a high-octane offense and they're a well-coached team. So I'm going to use Toledo plus 3.5 as my second play.
It's another game that goes at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Betting number 322, Toledo as a home dog plus 3.5 over Missouri. Birdie says, don't worry about the number that's dropping. Toledo plus 3.5 still offers value. ComptrBob, what's your thought on those second or third generation numbers, especially in the month of September, dealing with the college football?
Well, incidentally, Toledo was also on my short list that didn't make it, so I would tend to agree. I think Toledo is going to be very competitive in that game. But your question is what, like the second week?
Well, as far as games moving, getting the worst of it, taking a number that's dropped 2, maybe 3 points already, and jumping in at that point in time, dangerous, or are you willing to do it?
Well, I certainly would do it. I don't know about 3 points, but like last week on the Tuesday show, I gave Temple, which I bet personally at 15.5. It opened at 17. I gave it out at 13.5, and it closed around 8.5. And so I don't put a huge amount of respect onto the opening numbers. In fact, this Washington State game opened for about a nanosecond. It opened at a pick'em. It got quickly bet up to 3.5, 4, and then came down a little bit back to about 3.5. So that's a fairly significant move. I think you should always be aware that those moves are happening, and if they're moving past numbers that are important in your modeling or in your assessment of the game, the way the game's going to play out, like Railbird was saying with backdoor covers and whatnot, then it could be a definite thing to keep in mind, and would keep you either betting less on the game or even moving it off your card.
2 plays in, 5 more to go. It's Railbird against ComptrBob in a one-on-one handicapping showdown. Bob, we're ready for your third play.
Okay, my third play is one that's moved, but not through a particularly important number, and that is betting number 338, Utah minus 13.5 versus Fresno State. This is kind of a bet against Fresno State. I think they're really down. I think they really saw a shock and awe against USC last week, and sometimes when that happens in the opener, I think it really puts a lot of dissension in the team, a lot of questioning. It just destroys your motivation and perhaps your confidence. Now USC is obviously a juggernaut, but like Railbird said, they ran over 100 plays on offense, and Utah will come at you too. Utah is a very tough team. They're I don't think as good as USC, but certainly I think they're 2 touchdowns better. And Fresno, when you lose your opener, all the second team and third team guys are going to the coach saying, "Look, I can solve your problems. Put me in, coach." And it causes a lot of chaos.
Betting number 338, Utah minus 13.5 over Fresno State. That is ComptrBob's third of 7 selections. Note that in this competition, both handicappers submitted their plays approximately 30 minutes before showtime. Neither one privy of the other's plays. Railbird, you also landed on this Utah-Fresno State game. Do you agree or disagree with ComptrBob?
I'm the same side as Bob does. Utah, plus there's a little altitude up there. Utah, so that's an elevation. They had the Winter Olympics here in Salt Lake City, so that could be a factor too. Tim DeRuiter is from Long Beach area, right here in this area. He's from the St. John Bosco guy, and he's not quite the recruiter Pat Hill is. They can't get, when they were in the WAC, they had an advantage where they can get Prop 47 kids in there. It was a little easier to get kids in there. Mountain West a little tougher requirements, and another thing was their quarterback is starting for the Raiders tomorrow, so they're going to miss him too. And now this team's not close to what they were last year. They weren't very good last year when they had Derek Carr, and now he's gone too. So yeah, that's his blowout city tomorrow.
Yeah, so great point.
So the 7-game competition, now a 6-game competition, as both ComptrBob and Railbird line up on the same side of the Utah-Fresno State game. Take betting number 338, Utah, minus 13.5. That's the current number at Crisp, by the way, and that's what our guys are competing against. There are lower numbers in the marketplace on that game. I see 13s in a lot of spots. So, as always, shop for the best number, lay the lowest, take the highest if possible. ComptrBob, play 4.
Play 4 is a play on class mismatch. It's betting number 342, Penn State minus 14 versus Akron. I think this line is low because of the travel factor. Obviously, Penn State played last weekend in Ireland against Central Florida, really in a back-and-forth game, but Penn State racked up some pretty impressive stats. I think they're stronger than I first initially modeled them at, and since I had a mild lean last week to Central Florida, although I didn't bet that particular game. But I think that's a game that can bolster confidence. I think going up against Akron, who's in the middle of the MAC type team, really not that competitive. I think Penn State can. My numbers show that they could easily win this game by 3 touchdowns or more, and it would be a nice opening for Coach Franklin, who's the new Penn State coach, for a win in Happy Valley by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
ABC to televise. The game kicks at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Betting number 342, Penn State minus 14 over Akron. That'll serve as ComptrBob's 4th selection. Bertie, your 4th play.
My play is 397 Ole Miss, 19.5. Vandy got whomped last week. I think they're might be like an 0-12 team. They're bad news bears this year. They got a new coach, new system. Ole Miss might be the best team in the SEC. They looked dynamic last week. Alabama didn't impress me. Auburn and Ole Miss might be the 2 best teams. South Carolina looks like garbage. But Ole Miss they whipped some folks. I know, and luckily this game's on the road to keep the line down a little bit. 19.5. It should beat them by 40. People will be leaving at halftime in that one. So 397 Ole Miss minus 19.5.
347, a strong push from Bertie, and Ole Miss minus the spot against Vanderbilt. Go ahead and lay the 19.5 points on the road. 4 plays in, 3 more to come. You're listening to the EOG Sports Hour. It's Railbird against ComptrBob, 2 members of our Ion Gaming community who I respect, and Railbird has plenty of challengers. I was surprised, Bertie, the number of people who want to take you on, considering your record in this event. Mentioned 11 straight victories. Heim is not shy. He's going to give you a go. A Looker, who's a database handicapper, a big modeler who has friends in high places. A Looker is going to take you on. Also, let's see, it's a Sleepy who wants a shot at you. Maybe we'll get Hustle Double and Ed the Statman involved as well.
And you mentioned Mike Corrigan, too.
Oh, in fact, Mike Corrigan, he really wants to take a swing, Bertie. He's ready to gamble for whatever you'd like. We're going to keep that under the covers. We're not going to publicize too much what's happening in terms of the wagering aspects of this head-to-head competition, but Mike Corrigan is not shy when he wagers.
It's funny, Heim was very hesitant in basketball. I was begging him to come against me in basketball, and he claims that was his sport. For some reason, he was shy in basketball.
Are you watching the FIBA basketball, Bertie? I know Team USA has a game tomorrow against Mexico, and checking the current numbers, Team USA is a 37.5-point favorite over Mexico in a game that goes Saturday morning at 7 o'clock Pacific. Are you following FIBA basketball?
Oh, I've been running really well in FIBA. I love FIBA basketball. And the Philippines was just got an overtime win for me the other day. But, I think that 37 might be a little too many, although Mexico's not as good as, I think, the last Ukraine or the Dominican. They have a little size disadvantage, and I think USA will be a little more motivated in an elimination game or like a quarterfinal game than they would be in the round-robin play. I might pass on that game, but I'm looking to fade USA in the later rounds for sure.
Mm-hmm. If we get to it, USA-Spain matchup. Heim was on the program a few days ago, Bertie. He thought Team USA would be about a 5.5-point favorite over Spain in Madrid.
Yeah, I make it. I mean, my power rating says I think Spain. I make Spain 2, but I think Heim's probably right. That'll probably be what the line is, 5.5 or so.
ComptrBob, are you following FIBA basketball?
Yes, I've been watching the games and looking at some of the betting options, both at some offshores like Bookmaker as well as William Hill has had.
There were some outright tanks the last game the other day. These teams were just like a Slovenia. I'm called that on the money. Slovenia tanked.
Oh yeah.
And then Australia tanked their match. They were up 15, and they like let the other team win on. It was like obvious. It was really. I mean, they'd get arrested if they did that here, I think.
Yeah, I think didn't Slovenia only score 2 points in the fourth quarter?
2 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's more pure basketball because of the rules, and I think it's they don't allow a lot of the taunting and other crap that goes on in the NBA. But,
yeah, I enjoy it. It's less the AAU style. It's more team oriented, more extra passes like the Spurs.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Back to the football handicapping. Railbird against ComptrBob. 4 plays in, 3 more to come. We have about 10 minutes remaining on the program. Bob, we're ready for play 5.
Okay, this is a over-under from the NFL. I'm going to bet 469, 470. Jacksonville, Philadelphia Eagles over the total of 52. As I think we've discussed, these NFL games have become a lot like touch football, and you've got teams that are really running up tempo. They're getting a huge amount of help with some of the illegal contact and pass interference penalties. To me, a lot of the roughing the passer penalties that have been called in preseason are really kind of sketchy. And if we continue to see these kind of penalties, they're a huge help for the offense. Like we're saying, with efficiency, your penalty efficiency is going through the roof. And of course, the master at running up tempo has been Chip Kelly in college, and it's still a little bit up for grabs as to whether it's a long-term winning strategy in the pros, but he's going to run it. And so I like the Eagles to score, at least mid-30s in this game. And I think Jacksonville can put up points, even with their backup, the rookie Blake Bortles. They've been able to move the ball. Chad Henne will be the starter. He's a decent quarterback, and I don't think Jacksonville will be quite as bad as they have been in the past. But if you look at the statistics in the last 10 years, if you have games like this with a fairly big dog, a dog that's greater than 10%, over a sample size of roughly about 270 games, the over has gone over 54.3%. So some of the statistics are working for us, and certainly the specifics of this game, I think, are working for us, the over.
So that's a dog of 10 points or more, Bob, you're saying?
Yeah, that's a dog of over 10 points.
Game 4?
10.5 or more.
10.5 or more. Game 469, 470. Jacksonville and Philadelphia over the total of 52. Birdie, play 5.
Well, play 5 is the 465 Minnesota Vikings plus 3.5. I think most people know that Sam Bradford's out for the year with a knee injury. And the Vikings, they have with that coaching change they have, he is a real fireball. They have North Turner as the offensive coordinator. I forget the head coach's name. But I just spoke with a guy who was with the Vikings, and he was saying that there's a whole new attitude with the Vikings. They're really like more disciplined and less more fire with them. And then Adrian Peterson's fully healthy, and North Turner's I think the best offensive coordinator around. So that they're getting 3.5 for the Rams, who they just look out of sorts. They're coming with a new quarterback. I just think 3.5. That extra hooks might be big too, but it's the 465 Vikings plus 3.5.
Betting number 465, the Vikings plus 3.5 over the St. Louis.
The coach is Mike Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, Mike Zimmer. Yeah.
Former assistant at Cincinnati. Really good coach.
A defensive guy too, right, Bob? He was the defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. So
right.
We've got 5 plays in, 2 more to come. You're listening to the EOG Sports Hour. Bob, play 6.
Okay, play 6. I will stay in the National Football League, or as some say, the No Fun League, and go with betting number 473, Cincinnati Bengals plus 1.5 versus the Baltimore Ravens. And this easily could be it opened 2.5. It's gone down to 1.5. So I'm getting a little bit worse of the number. But the Ravens last year were 8-8. We have the notorious Ray Rice suspension, so he'll be out for the game. We have for the Ravens. And I just don't think the Ravens are any more than this year maybe a 7-9 team. Cincinnati has notoriously done very well during the regular season. They've had some shortcomings during the postseason, but I do expect them to win this game, and so I'll take them with a 1.5 head start.
Betting number 473, the Cincinnati Bengals plus 1.5 over the Baltimore Ravens. That is Bob's sixth play. Bertie, your sixth.
My sixth is the Detroit Lions, minus 6.5. They have, Reggie Bush is 100%. The New York Giants have a new offensive coordinator, and they're going to a West Coast offense. And I think Peyton Manning went like 2 or 3 exhibitions, or Eli Manning, his brother, went like 3 preseason games without completing a pass. I think he completed a pass, and they had like 2 more games. He was like 3 or 4 series. He couldn't complete a pass. Then he finally did this, like the next game against the Jets. He completed a couple of passes, but he's not taking to that new offense. And the Lions are Reggie Bush just looks like he's back in college, running 4.3 40, zooming around. The Lions have a pretty good defense. They have some outstanding players, individual players on both sides of the ball. As a big receiver, they have Johnson, and then defensively they got some guys like Sue and a couple other headbangers. But 6.5. I think the Lions with their Monday with the energy they're going to have on that Monday night game, and with the Lions struggling, even though the Giants went 4-0 in preseason, they had a bad preseason. So the Lions 6.5. I'm going to use number 490.
At Ford Field in downtown Detroit on Monday night, betting number 490, Detroit minus 6.5 over the New York Giants. 6 plays in, 1 more to come. It's the best bet on the weekend card for both ComptrBob and Railbird. We have less than 5 minutes remaining in the program. Bob, your best.
My best is a bet that you gave out the other day, and that, although you did it in a parlay, I'm going to bet 351 Michigan State plus 13 versus Oregon. A lot of reasons for this, and a lot of the media is pointing this out. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that Michigan State was very strong last year, went to the Rose Bowl, beat a Stanford team that was a very physical team. Stanford beat Oregon last year, and Stanford's given Oregon fits over the years, at least the Chip Kelly and the Helfrich years. But D'Antonio, the coach of Michigan State, is really a master. He has a tremendous road record, and he has a tremendous record in big games like this. And obviously, this is a real statement game for the Big Ten. With Northwestern getting beat the crap out of by Cal, that set the Big Ten back a couple of steps. And I just think this game is going to be very competitive. He's going to slow it down. We've seen Oregon, when they went up against the physical Auburn team in the national championship a couple of years ago. They played well, but they can be slowed down by a good defense. And even though Michigan State's lost some guys to the NFL, some real quality guys, they've been able to fill a lot of the holes. So with no further ado, I'll go with the good number here, Michigan State plus 13.
Fox will televise. It's the game of the day tomorrow. Betting number 351, Michigan State plus 13 over Oregon. About a minute remaining. Bertie, your best bet.
I'm going to use Auburn 366. They're laying 33. They have Gus, Coach Malzahn. They fly up and down the field. They run a ton of plays. I think as many as the Trojans, 100 plus a game. And they're playing San Jose State, who was very good a couple of years ago with Coach McIntyre, who's now at Colorado. But they lost him, and they don't have the defense they once did. They struggle on both sides of the ball, and Auburn's not shy about running it up. And it's not my favorite play, but the routability of it, of this big favorite, so I use it as the tiebreaker. Laying the 33 was probably the best team in the country against San Jose State, who's a Mountain West team traveling back east, down southeast. They might be down that many at halftime. So they covered that game against Arkansas last week. That was phenomenal how they just looked like they weren't going to get there. It was tied late in the third, and then next thing you know, they covered a 17-point spread.
That'll wrap up our fast-moving program, Birdie's Best Bet, betting number 366, Auburn minus 33. Thanks for listening.